Así es como se enamora, así es como se enamora tu corazón con el mío, tu corazón con el mío. Luna llena menguante, luna llena menguante. Anda muchacho a la casa y me trae la carabina para matarte, gavilán, que no me deja ir.
91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. You are tuned into LocalMotion here every Wednesday live from 4 to 6 p.m., broadcasting live from the beautiful campus here at Vassar College. It's Wednesday. It's 4 o'clock. Show number, we're celebrating a little bit today. It's show number 250 for me here on these wonderful, wonderful airwaves of WVKR. So because it's show number 250, we've got two guests today. Starting off in just a few minutes, we'll be talking with Cindy Cashdollar, one of my favorites. She's been on the show a few times. I always enjoy talking with her. And then during the 5 o'clock hour, I have Annalise and Ryan going to be joining me. We're going to talk about their monthly live stream series that they have going on every month from Beacon at the Howland Cultural Center. It's called The Valley Hour. And Cindy Cashdollar happens to be their guest this weekend. So it all definitely joins in nicely together. So we've got lots of great stuff going on. And again, just want to say you are tuned into LocalMotion, 91.3 WVKR. Feel free if you've missed part of the interview or anything like that, that's coming up. You can always check out my YouTube channel, Rita Ryan LocalMotion. Subscribe to it and keep up with all the great interviews that are posted on there, as well as the LocalMotion Facebook page. For now, let's get started. We're going to dedicate most of this hour to Miss Cindy Cashdollar. Her latest release, which I play here a lot. If you're a regular listener, you have definitely heard most of the CD here, and you'll hear a lot of it today as well. Waltz for Abilene is the latest release by Cindy Cashdollar. This is a song that we're going to play now. She sent this to me quite a while ago before she even released the album, and I haven't played it in a while, so I figure we'll start the show off with Peacock Alley today. Let's take a listen. 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie. 91.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Cindy Cashdollar, Waltz for Abilene is the release. And we just heard Peacock Alley. Let's get her on the phone so she can tell you more about it instead of me. Cindy?
Rita?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Wonderful.
Yes, I hear you perfect.
Well, thank you for being here today. I know it's kind of a crazy day in our nation, and it's nice to just take a break from the TV and the news and just kind of get back to the music.
Oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
This is the break we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is your 250th show. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is also a monumental happening today, too.
Thank you. There's a few things overshadowing that, but that's quite all right, and I'm good with that. And
No, that's just we'll just focus on your 250th show,
Well,
and I will say right up top, thank you so much for continuing to bring so much great music and interviews and your great spirit here.
Oh, thank you.
And everywhere over the Ethernet. So
thank you.
Really great.
And it's such an honor to share this with you. You know, when I said, I only realized like 2 weeks ago, oh my God, 250 is coming up. And I was like, who do I want? And you came immediately to mind. So I'm glad that it worked out and that you're here and we're doing this together. I'd like to, if I could please, give a brief introduction to listeners out there. So let's say that dobro, lap steel, and steel guitarist Cindy Cashdollar grew up in Woodstock, New York. She's performed with countless musicians throughout her career, including working with Asleep at the Wheel for many years. She was the first woman to be inducted to the Texas Steel Guitar Hall of Fame in 2011. She was also inducted to the Texas Music Hall of Fame in 2012 and was nominated as Instrumentalist of the Year by the Americana Music Association in 2016. So with that, thank you for being here with me today on this 250th episode, Cindy Cashdollar.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're not celebrating a birthday because nobody want to be 250 years old.
Yeah.
And hey, if I could have, I would have sent you 250 roses.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Pandemic salary does not allow
Yeah, just not happening.
As doesn't the normal salary.
Right, exactly. It's just a crazy time, especially for you guys in the arts. And what you been doing with yourself the last couple of months during this pandemic?
Well, it's been a strange thing, as it has for every single one of us, and it's really interesting to see, to me, the evolution of, how some, or speaking for myself, how some of my friends started and some right out of the chute started, cooking, took up new cooking skills, or they're baking bread, or musicians are learning, Japanese scales. Mm-hmm. But I, for the first time in over 35 years, am home for this length of time. I've never been home for this length of time. So it's been amazing to watch the change of seasons, to be here to watch every change of season, because usually I'm on the road and in and out. So that's been lovely. Yeah. There was a kitchen renovation that went on here for some months.
So are you doing lots of nice cooking now that you have a new kitchen?
Well, I think probably a little more. I think that was happening before, and certainly now. So there was a kitchen renovation happening, renovating my office, but lately it's been a lot of virtual things. Yeah. I have been involved in quite a few different projects, and just lately, I think, taped like 2 concerts, and I did a live lap steel clinic in conjunction with the Museum of Making Music out in Carlsbad, California.
And that was just like the other day, right? Last weekend?
Yeah, that was Friday. That was interesting. That was like my first sale of the audio interface ship here.
Nice. Nice. Now, is that archived somewhere where listeners can go back and view that?
Yes, it's at the museumofmakingmusic.org. But that was fun, but it was a little bit of a stressor. Like, it was live and, split screen moderator. People were able to write in questions as this event was going down. But it went great. I loved the people there. It went very smoothly. And they also have a lot of wonderful stuff coming up in a couple of days. They have what they're calling the immediate family, which is Waddy Wachtel, Danny Korchmore, all these amazing a group of musicians, longtime musicians that I know we have all heard on hundreds of recordings over these years. So they are the next artists to be hosted, but museumofmakingmusic.org.
Ah, nice.
Really fun. Check it out. It goes on at different times throughout the country live. It was live, so like we are now.
Like we are now. Except, the beautiful thing is we don't have the stress of the visual.
No.
Right.
No, not like I did Friday.
Right, exactly. So it's for me, I don't know, it makes it a little easier. I mean, that's how I feel anyway.
Well, it was very easy, but that's been lately, I think, as things are slowly happening. I have, like I said, done a good amount of tapings of concerts, I think I've done 3 videos and 2 or 3 concerts, and more coming up. And this is what we're doing. I mean, there's some live music happening. We know that at the Falcon. Which,
yeah. And incidental live music at the Colony, too. There was some at Bearsville, right? So there's still some incidental music. I think you played with the Restless Age, right, at the Falcon?
Yes,
summer?
I did that in August.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was wonderful. Love those guys. August, that seems so long ago.
I know.
And then I just did a video with them that we taped at the Bearsville Theater for Malia Clapton, Eric Clapton's wife. Her charity is called Turn Up for Recovery. And so that is one that I also did with the Restless Age. And that's online, too, at turnupforrecovery.org.
Nice.
But it's a lovely organization that she has. It's a charity that is to help those who need treatment, drug and alcohol addiction, but cannot afford to get into Eric Clapton's Crossroads Center in Antigua. Mm-hmm. So Turn Up for Recovery by donation, and it can be any amount, raises money for those in need of help.
Nice.
And that is also a very fun. I was very honored to be asked and very surprised to get an email from Eric Clapton's wife one day. But
wow.
We were very glad to do it, and that too is also a very just a really fun link to go to, because so many of us musicians have done it. Sheryl Crow, Robert Cray, one of the Nevilles. So many artists are on there, and we are all there to share music and hope to raise money for her cause.
Yeah, for a really good cause. And that sounds wonderful. Now, I saw something that did a video where you're doing something with Happy Traum this month, the coming of age in the Greenwich Village. Is that?
Yeah, that happened Saturday. That was another filming at the Bearsville Theater, the beautifully renovated Bearsville Theater. It's just gorgeous.
And when you go to the bathroom, you can see yourself painted on the door.
My image is beautifully painted on one of the bathroom stall doors, along with Maria Muldaur's image is right next to me.
Yeah.
And on the other side of me is the Odetta, very historic folk singer, and next to Odetta is Kate Pearson, and then the big mural on the wall is Janis Joplin.
It's
so
amazing.
I am in the best girly company when I go to the ladies' room.
Yeah, I keep saying I can't wait till concerts open up there, and I actually see you use the ladies' room and walk out of that stall with your painting on it. I mean, to me, that's like the perfect picture,
That certainly would be. I definitely feel that way.
Right.
But Lizzie Van, who some of your listeners may or may not know, is the fabulous person that took over what is now the Bearsville Center. And the whole place is just such an incredible tribute to musicians who have lived, performed, recorded in Woodstock for many years, going back to the 60s. So everywhere you look, there is a door painted in someone's image. There's just fabulous, gorgeous artistic renditions of everybody, giant photographs. Catherine Sebastian's beautiful photographs are everywhere, depicting many artists over the many years here in Woodstock. So it's really like a museum and an art center.
It really is. I mean, when I took my tour there, I think I saw you there that day also, and Lizzie showed me around. She's since been a guest on the show and has talked about the extensive renovations and just how beautiful it is. It really is a museum. It feels like it's a museum when you go in there. It's so much history. You can tell how much she is a fan of music and how it just runs in her blood. She loves it.
Yes, it really does, and she has such amazing energy. But I love when you walk into the Bearsville Theater, right away you feel like you're in a theater. They have changed the intake box office, and everything is so different but the same in there. So congratulations, Lizzie, on a fabulous job, and I know that we all of us cannot wait until we can all be there in person. But in the meantime, if you go to their website, I think it's bearsvillecenter.org. I would like to double check on that before the show.
It's actually
over.
bearsvilletheater.com because I talk about the events that are happening there all the time. So it
good.
is.
Well, thank you for that. Of course, you would know. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that even though we're all at home, and this winter coming up, we can still be connected with music somehow.
Right.
One way or another. I know you, Rita, and I know all of the artists here are going to make sure that that music is happening at some point for
Absolutely.
people.
You know, when the pandemic first started and everything was really closed down before the incidental music, a lot of artists were doing live streams. They still are. But there were a lot of people doing live streams. And boy, when it first started and you couldn't go anywhere but the grocery store and maybe the drugstore, it felt so good just to be able to, turn on your computer or your phone and just see some music. And it really helped a lot. So I know there's still a lot of those things going on.
It's soothing, and I know we all need it, and especially right now with the election, it's like I was probably like, everyone. I was up till 1:32 on the election results, and I thought, this is insane. It's just like the beginning of it,
Right. Right.
So it's like, yeah, I think cooking or taking up garage mechanics or whatever. We all need to do something.
And also the beautiful thing is, look at where we live. We're here in the beautiful Hudson Valley. We've got so many great parks and just getting outside and breathing in. We're lucky enough to have some amazing weather coming our way this next couple of days. And
I can't wait. I certainly can't wait. And that's why, earlier I mentioned, what did I do this year? I mostly, trying to get over the shock of, in the beginning, every week getting emails saying, we're sorry to inform you that this tour has been canceled, that tour has been canceled. But, the big prize to me was just seeing the change of seasons all this year, which I haven't, like I said, I haven't done and been able to do in ages.
In a long time. When I had Larry on, Larry Campbell, because of course, he went through COVID and all of that. So we talked this summer and he was fine and healthy. He's like, Rita, the thing that I can't get used to, and I love it, he says, is I'm actually sleeping like a regular human being. I go to bed at a normal time. I'm not up until all hours. And he's like, it's amazing how sleep deprived I was all these years being a musician.
Yeah, you don't know because you're always running on fumes. You know?
Right.
Usually running on fumes, which, at any given moment, any one of us is, whether we have a really tough job or we have a family we're taking care of, we're all running on fumes these days.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that he came through COVID and he's he's good.
He's very
now
good.
He's back.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And listen, you've got another great thing happening this Saturday, and I'm going to be talking with Annalise and Ryan during the 5 o'clock hour, all about the wonderful Valley Hour. So yeah, that's this Saturday, the 7th.
Yes. That I have never done the Valley Hour before. I met Annalise and Ryan. They opened at a show that I did, or shared the bill at a show I did at the barn, and they were wonderful. And so I was very happy to be asked to do their show from the historic Howland Cultural Center in Beacon.
Yes.
And Andy Stack will be playing with me.
Oh, wonderful. He was their featured guest, I think, last week. Now, Cindy, they've only done, I think, 2 or 3 of these. So it's a brand new concept. And I love what they're doing because it's recorded so beautifully, very professionally done. And I guess it's this monthly series. And the Howland Cultural Center, if any listener has never been there, it's breathtaking. It's a building that's been there for I think, I don't know, 150, 170 years, something like that. And the acoustics in there are just breathtaking. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Can't wait. It looks, I've seen pictures of the building, and it looks absolutely stunning. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to it. And they said that the show is kind of the vibe of A Prairie Home Companion, which I used to be a guest on for quite a few years when Garrison Keillor was doing that show. I would go on and just be a guest musician of the band. And live radio was always very interesting.
Yeah.
There was lots of stuff going on that, of course, the listening audience couldn't see. But, wow, there was a lot of last-minute changes going on that stage, and everybody would just just rise to the occasion.
You got to give shows like that kudos for doing it live. Yeah, it's a whole different thing when you're doing something live than, if you can do edits and all of that. But if it's just going out there, it's...
No, it's very exciting, and I know that Annalise and Ryan are just seem so dedicated to this.
Yes.
And I think it's a great thing, and tickets are so reasonable.
Yes.
And when you purchase a ticket, in addition to or instead of the live show, you can see it on demand for a week. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a really great bonus there. And all the proceeds of ticket purchase go to supporting the artists that are on the show, and also to keep the Howland Cultural Center going.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful way, and you don't have to leave your own home, so it's this Saturday coming up, thevalleyhour.com. There's also the usual Facebook and Instagram pages as well, so if anybody is just hanging out at home Saturday night, you can see Cindy Cashdollar perform with Andy Stack at the Valley Hour. It's good, and they're such great people. I look forward to talking to them
They are very talented, and it's a good hour. It goes on at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
So that's good. So if there's other things going on for everybody Saturday night, I mean, hey, just because we're home, we've got the world at our fingertips here.
Yeah, we do.
Internet.
Yeah, we do. Isn't it funny how music starts so early now? It's hysterical. You're home by 10 o'clock, most of the time.
It is.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is really incredible. It's I remember, days of going on stage at 11:30, 12 o'clock. What the heck, if the club, sometimes the clubs wouldn't get really busy until then. But I think everybody likes different hours. So with the internet, there's always something going on continuously.
Thankfully. Can you imagine if we were dealing with this without technology, without being able to entertain ourselves by watching movies and all of this stuff?
They did it before.
Yeah, I know.
They did it during the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
So I have to turn the tables on this interview for a second and ask you, how do you feel about your 250th show?
I feel really good about it. It just kind of hit me 2 weeks ago, and I was like, wow, 250? how did that happen? And that makes sense because I've been here over 5 years now, and it's just I love doing it. I stopped when the pandemic started at first, just for a couple of weeks because it was just so hard, and now I say, I'm going to keep doing this, and live music isn't happening the way it was, but there are still things going on, and I said, you know what? If at anything I could do for 2 hours a week, let someone forget, and just go to music and forget all the craziness that's going on in our world and just talk about music, focus on music. I mean, the Hudson Valley, look at how rich we are with all the amazing musicians like yourself that we have here. So I'm going to keep plugging along, Cindy, and nothing's going to stop me from doing this as long as I can.
I hope not. I hope not, because 250 is a great number. And Asleep at the Wheel just celebrated their fifth year this week.
I was going to bring that up. Austin City Limits. Tell me more. And tell us, first of all, let's step back a little bit. Your involvement with Asleep at the Wheel, I think you were with them for what, almost a decade?
Not quite. It was 8.5 years. Mm-hmm. And then, I left on just wonderful terms. I simply left because I love Western swing, but at that point I just wanted to go back to doing the other roots music that I had been involved with before I joined Asleep at the Wheel. Mm-hmm. So I left on good, nice terms, and so they had tried, I think, one or two steel players after I left, and for one reason or another, it just didn't work out. So I was kind of going back and forth. I would go back with them and fill in a little bit, then they'd find somebody else didn't work, go back with them, fill in. But they finally found Eddie Rivers, who is a great steel player. And so, it's a gray area of 8.5, but it was almost a decade. And still, I toured with them, was it last year or the year before? I actually was supposed to be, this weekend, I was supposed to be with them in Nashville.
Aww.
Doing 2 shows for their 50th anniversary. But, of course, that didn't happen.
Weren't they at Levon's at the barn last year, and you played with them? Wasn't that?
Yes, that was. That was last year, yes. I did. That's right. I did 2 tours. I think that was the first night of the first tour with them. Nice. And that was such great fun there. And I don't think they had ever played the barn before. And then I think I did a few weeks with them again later in the summer.
Beautiful.
In the West Coast.
So
area.
you hooked up with them because I know you're from the area. You really are from the area, from Woodstock. And then you moved down to Nashville, right, in the early 90s?
Yeah, 92.
Mm-hmm. 92. And then how did you get from there to Austin?
Well, I met Asleep at the Wheel when I was still living in Nashville. And I had been working, that was my 5th year of working with Leon Redbone. But his tour schedule, everything was slowing way down that year. And I heard Asleep at the Wheel was looking for to fill a position. So they happened to be doing a TV show taping in Nashville. And so I, just found their bus at the TV station parking lot and gave them a demo tape. And, it took us a few months of some phone calls and, with Ray Benson. But anyway, I ended up moving to Austin, Texas, which is where they had been based out of, because you have to live there. They toured so much.
Right.
They could not hire somebody and be flying them back and forth all the time.
Right.
So I moved to Nashville in 92, and then 6 months later moved to Austin, Texas in 1992.
And you were there for a while, right?
23 years, yes.
Wow.
After I left the Wheel, Austin was great, so I stayed there, and it was a wonderful place to be. I worked with a lot of different artists after I left the Wheel, but when I would come home to Austin, if there was some time home, there was always some great work there too, with musicians playing in all those clubs. And it's such a cultural city, so many wonderful people, so many incredible artists. It was kind of like somebody took Woodstock and kind of dumped it in the middle of Texas,
Nice.
or older Woodstock when there was a lot of clubs, because 7 nights a week there was music in Austin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a wonderful long run in Austin.
Long run in Austin. Well, we're happy to have you back home here in the Hudson Valley, that's for sure. Now, I know you also recorded with Bob Dylan. Yes?
That was on his Time Out of Mind album.
And tell me how that... I always love to hear stories about how people get connected and how they got connected with somebody like a Bob Dylan.
Well, I didn't know Bob. I had never met him. And one day I just got a call saying, "Oh, we've been trying to find you." I guess they thought I was still in Woodstock, whatever. But anyway, I was just contacted by management, and Bob had a list of people that he wanted to have on his Time Out of Mind album because it was an amazing project. It really was. It was all done live. It was double instruments of everything. I always refer to it as the Noah's Ark sessions.
Wow. Where was this recording?
Well, it was recorded in various places. The 2 weeks that I was there, I was at Criteria Studios in Miami. Mm-hmm. But I know it was recorded, some of the sessions were recorded other places, same songs, just, different, in different styles. But it was a really great, it was just a great experience. I found him very engaging, very pleasant, very funny.
Did you just meet him while you were at the recording studio, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had actually finished the Delbert McClinton Blues Cruise.
Oh, nice.
goes out every January, which is fun. I was with Asleep at the Wheel at that time, and so we would do that cruise every year. It's a great cruise, and it docked in Miami. That's where it came out from and came back to, and was picked up there by one of Dylan's people and right to the studio.
Wow.
And as I was setting up my gear, Bob came in and introduced himself. It was all very relaxing, very nice. And
well, you must have had a lot in common. I mean, just the Woodstock thing, the connection.
Yeah. I mean, there was that, and also, I think, I knew a couple of people on the sessions, too. I mean, at that point, when he walked in the studio, I was the only one there. I got there early to set up. But, I didn't really know too many people there. Tony Garnier, the bass player, who's been Dylan's musical director for over 30 years, also an alumni of Asleep at the Wheel, and in their early days.
And also a Hudson Valley resident.
That's right, he is now. That's right.
Yeah.
Love Tony. He's amazing. And then Augie Myers, the great, organ, accordion player, was there. And I think those are the only two people that I knew. Mm-hmm.
And of course, Larry Campbell played with Dylan for 9 years or something.
Right, and I think at the time of during the Time Out of Mind recordings, I think Larry had been gone, and I think it was Bob Britt who was playing guitar at the time. But I think that was a great session. It was produced by Daniel Lenoir, and one of my favorite drummers, Jim Keltner, was there, and I was so thrilled because he set up right in front of me. It was not a very conventional setup in terms of recording. Mm-hmm. So it was a real eye-opener in so many ways, just as far as how it was recorded, how it was produced. But I really came away with being very happy and honored that I was asked to do that session, because I really think that it was one of his landmark albums. And when I heard the album after it was released, I was just really taken aback at how the recordings sounded so much exactly like that room in the studio.
Nice.
A lot of recordings don't.
Right. Yeah.
But this did.
Nice.
It was a very big studio, and Daniel Daniel Lenoir got very real sounds, I will say, on everybody's instruments and amps. And so what you hear when you listen to those recordings, not the bootlegs, not the outtakes, I know there's all that came out sometime later, but the actual Time Out of Mind album, you can really hear that studio.
Right. Yeah. What a great experience for you. It's so cool. Have you ever considered like writing a book or a little memoir or something?
No.
Really? Yeah. Because you have some really wonderful stories, and you've performed or recorded with, I mean, who's who in music. So I don't know, just food for thought,
So many
Cindy.
so many people have done wonderful books. Yorma Halkinen.
Oh, Yorma's is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And Rory Block and Jim Rooney, and I mean, a lot of artists have done books. I'm hoping Dave Alvin will do a book soon. I know that's going to be good. But, I mean, a few people have asked me, when are you going to do a book? But I just would find it so hard to write about, because I'm one of those people whose brains just goes everywhere if I remember something.
Right.
It's like I'd have to have a really good editor just to dummy everything down.
And even if somebody like did it for you, where you were just sitting and talking with somebody into a recorder, and they would transcribe it or something, I mean.
Yeah, that could be done. Like Jim Rooney, who is, he was a very important part of the Boston folk music bluegrass scene, went on to become a producer in Nashville, just a real kind of bon vivant, very brilliant writer. Did a book some years ago called Boss Men, Bossmen, and it's such an interesting book. It's Bill Monroe on one half, the great bluegrass mandolin player, and then Muddy Waters.
Wow.
It's just an incredible book. It's still available, but Jim went and taped interviews with these guys and edited it, so it is so interesting. It's not only, it's a history of music, listening to these guys, but it's in their own words. And, Bill Monroe talking about growing up in the South and all, where he came from, in the bluegrass roots, and then Muddy Waters talking about his Chicago blues roots, but also growing up working, touring as a black musician,
right,
trying to ride that fence later on between being on the road and getting into restaurants. And so it's a wonderful book. And so I think, yes.
Fascinating. I keep saying, I've had Happy Traum on a couple of times, and whenever I had him on, I felt like I was getting the history of folk music.
Oh, he is. He is such an important part of folk music, and actually the show that you mentioned earlier, the recent taping at the Bearsville Theater with Happy Traum and John Sebastian, is going to be not only music, but it is Happy Traum's presentation, his slideshow and talk of the history of folk music and his involvement in it in Greenwich Village. And that is, it's like a history course.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I just listened to him. I'm just like, talk to me, and it just amazing stories of his time in the village and since, of course, then up here. Cindy, you also have some remarkable solo work. Slideshow came out a while back, and then recently you released Waltz for Abilene with a plethora of wonderful guest musicians.
It was a plethora, for sure. Yes, that was released right before the pandemic.
Yes.
But I was just glad that it was released.
Yeah, absolutely. We started off the show with Peacock Alley, which you did with Derek O'Brien, Ray Benson, and Mike Flanagan. And then every track, and there's 13 tracks on this wonderful release, has a heck of a guest with you. on these tracks. It's just really remarkable. I mean, I think most shows I spin something off of here. I just love this album. It might wear out on me sometime because, I'm old school. I actually use the CD copy, not the download. So
Well, I'll put another aside for you, but thank you Rita, for spinning, giving me some spins there. There certainly is a variety on this CD, so on this album. So
yeah,
something for everybody, and I had so much fun doing this, and I really wanted it to be people, like a musical conversation amongst friends.
Mm-hmm.
People that I've known for many years, artists that I've toured with, and also not just toured with, but became friends with, recorded with, and a lot are very old friends,
mm-hmm.
and some sort of, and quote unquote recent friends.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother Russ Cashdollar is here on drums on this the album, on Arlen Roth's track. Amy Helm.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Ring Them Bells.
Ring Them Bells, right?
Yeah.
And John Sebastian, Larry Campbell, Marsha Ball,
Albert Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Oh, by the way, you got to look on my Facebook page. Caroline just played with Amy Helm last week at the Falcon.
Oh, I saw that. That was so...
Listen,
that was wonderful.
She was not used to being amped, right? She's a violinist, classically training. So it was a little loud in some areas, but it was beautiful. The sound person just did not, manipulate the amp a little bit, but it was just so nice, and Amy was just so sweet. Just like the week before we were there watching, and she's like, Caroline, just bring your violin next week. Let's play Atlantic City. She's like, okay.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Very generous, giving person.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that it sounded great.
Yeah.
Because I saw the clip of it. So I thought, and the sound is always good at the Falcon.
It always is. Inside, outside, whatever. Now, you've got this Valley Hour this week with Andy. What are you guys going to be doing? Any idea?
We're going to be doing 2 instrumentals. The title track from my album. We're going to be doing a swing tune, which is kind of, to me, an homage to my years with Leon Redbone, my influences with the wheel. And it's all acoustic. I'm playing just acoustic slide guitars for the Valley Hour with Andy, and Andy is such an incredible guitar player, and he's going to also sing a song. So that is what we'll be doing on the Valley Hour.
Very
happily. And then December 12th, the Syncopators are back on the main stage at the Falcon.
There you go. There you go. That's what I like to hear. I'm marking it down. I'm writing it down. December 12th, the Syncopators. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. I love that. You guys had like a Monday night thing going on at the Falcon Underground for a while.
We did.
Yeah.
We did, and we had so much fun doing that, and such a great group of dancers.
Oh, yes.
That would come every Monday. What a beautiful crowd we had every Monday.
Well, now it's going to be a little different with the COVID and the
yes,
dancing.
I think so, but I know that the Falcon, and you do too, from being there, is so strictly socially distanced, and all protocols are strictly observed. So I know that they will be indoors as well.
Yes.
And it is a big area for I know they're going to move some tables out for dancing.
Right.
But it is the Syncopators with, Andy Stack and Adrienne Raju.
Oh, she's coming out after the baby.
Yes.
Is this going to be her first show after post-baby?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, Russ Cashdollar, on drums, and Ryan Berg on the bass, and Jeremy Baum on keyboards, and we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, you are.
I do hope everybody comes out on December 12th.
And you have to make reservations. You can't just show up at the Falcon. It's live at thefalcon.com, and you can make a reservation online or give them a call, but that's how it works, and it is limited capacity, so hurry up and make a reservation. Yeah.
in a way, that is the good thing. It is very limited capacity due to COVID.
Yeah.
And I know their kitchen and their bar is open, and the staff has been great.
Yes.
But it is definitely, I think, good to make a reservation earlier than you would think.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah.
I think some people are venturing out, and hopefully it won't snow.
Right.
We'll
That's the next thing we have to worry about. Hopefully not.
No, we got enough. We're not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
It'll be a dusting. If it snows, it'll just be a dust.
I'll say it starts snowing in January. Let's leave December alone. But
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Cindy, what do you want me to play next on your track here? Like I said, I played.
What do you like? Let's see. Well, it's nice at the Peacock Alley because Ray Benson's on there, and I just watched the Asleep at the Wheel 50th anniversary on Austin City Limits. That was really fun to see.
Awesome.
Let's see. I say, I don't know if you're up for it.
I'm up for anything. You're the DJ here today.
Let's do How Many More Years?
All right.
I think that's very appropriate, right?
Yes.
And singing on that is Omar Kent Dykes, who is one of my favorite blues growlers from Austin. He had Omar on the Howlers. And also on the track is Sarah Brown on bass, and Derek O'Brien again on guitar, and Marcia Ball's drummer, Corey Keller. And that, I remember that session so well from this album. It was done in one take.
Wow.
At Ray Benson's studio, actually, in Austin. And Omar Kent Dykes, who also just came out with a book, is such an incredible, just a sweetheart of a guy and just a monster singer. So I think that would be appropriate title for election week.
Yes, a week, month, maybe the way we're going to go. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Have you been out to Yorma's lately? I had him on the show like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's doing some workshops out there.
Oh, I didn't know they were back up to workshops because the last time I was there was last year. I was there in, I think it was October with Rory Black. Rory Black and I did a concert there.
Nice.
But not a workshop, and we were hoping to, this year it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they're open again.
Yeah, they're starting, everything's socially distanced. And, of course, Yorma's doing these Saturday night quarantine concerts from Fur Piece. Just amazing on his YouTube channel. So every Saturday night.
Yeah, those have been great. I caught a couple of those.
Yeah. But this Saturday, Valley Hour, that's where Cindy's going to be.
That's where I'm going to be, in Andy Stack and Upstate and Annalise and Ryan. And I'm
so much fun.
Looking forward to that.
So much fun.
So happy that they're doing that. I give a big applause to them for starting that up, for having the foresight to do it, and for seeing it through. And I think it just sounds like they've got a wonderful thing going, and I'm sure that I will see that Saturday.
Yeah, you will.
When I'm there.
You will. It's going to be awesome. So
they're great people, great musicians, and great people.
And keeping the music alive is what we have to keep doing during these times. It might be our only piece of sanity that's out there. So
it is, and you are dispensing that. You are the nurse of sanity. So thank you for 250 episodes of sanity, Rita.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being on the show quite a few times. It's always a pleasure talking with you, Cindy. It's always a pleasure seeing you. I'm going to play a track or two of yours now. We're going to talk to Ryan and Annalise in just a few minutes.
Hey, hi, Ryan and Annalise.
Yeah. And we'll look forward to seeing more of you. Again, Cindy Cashdollar at the Valley Hour this Saturday, the 7th live stream show. And then you'll be at the Falcon on December 12th. And Live.
Cindy Cashdollar and the Syncopators.
In person. And website, cindycashdollar.com. Also, Facebook. Keep up with all the wonderful things that this beautiful woman has going on in her life. Always a pleasure. Can't wait to hug you again someday, Miss Cindy. And
you too, Rita. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thanks, everybody, for listening.
And thank you. And give Harvey a big hug. You two
I will.
Take care
He's
of
building
each other.
Instruments. He's in his shop right now as we speak, building instruments.
Good.
Tell him.
Good. That's awesome. That's beautiful. All right, my friend. I will talk with you, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for your time today.
Congrats, Rita.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Aw, Cindy Cashdollar. She's terrific. Let's play some more of her music. She suggested I play How Many More Years. Let's take a listen to that right here, right now on 91.3 WVKR.
How many more years have I gotta let you dog me around? How many more years have I gotta let you dog me around? I'd just soon be dead, little girl, sleeping 6 feet in the ground. I'm gonna fall on my knees, I'm gonna raise up my right hand, fall on my knees, little girl, I'm gonna raise up my right hand. I would feel so much better, darling, woo, you try and understand.